welcome, and thank you so much for joining us in this morning, this evening, this afternoon, whatever is you're joining us from in the world. If we haven't met before, my name is Ana Maria, and I'm the community manager here at Butter. And those of you that don't know Butter, which I say by what I can see in the poll, no one in the room. It's an all-in-one tool that helps you run high-energy collaborative workshops with ease and smooth like butter. Now, the ButterMixer, or fortnightly events, brought to you by amazing guests, with the goal of making facilitation mainstream. So we really want to make sure that as many managers, people, facilitators, team leads, etc., designers are picking up facilitation skills. Now, this session is recorded, as you can tell by the record button on your left, and will be shared on YouTube and with the Butter community. With no further ado, I am delighted to introduce our host today. And Kara is the founder and CEO of Insights Leadership Group. For the past 15 years, she has been obsessed with how humans interact in business, leadership development, and creating irresistible culture. Her mission is to bring cutting-edge and modern leadership into organizations. Kara, I'm super excited to have you as a host for the next hour. Thank you so much. Over to you.
Okay, thank you so much. That was such a nice intro. So that's all we're going to do talking about me today, because I want to now just talk with everybody else and hear and learn with you. So when I was thinking about this session, which was probably a couple months ago, I said, hey, I want to do something, but my world is a little bit different. I talk about leadership development all the time. I speak on it. I work with different, learning platforms, etc. And this community is designers. So I was trying to think about what is the link between the two? What is going to be interesting to this audience? And then I realized that we are all on the same mission, which is to make more beautiful places to work. And part of that is taking away the boredom and the rigmarole of one-way communications inside of organizations. So when it comes down to it, anyone who is teaching other people how to facilitate, who is leading design thinking, is leading the world of work. So the link between it already exists of we are all leading. We are all teaching corporate America, organizations, how do you do things in a better, more creative way so that you don't just have people sitting there on their computers, bored out of their mind. It's the worst case scenario. So why do we have to move away from this? Because if we don't do it, that means people are going to have to go back into offices. The world of work isn't going to change at all because people think they have this misguided notion that collaboration is better in person, which I actually disagree with. Sometimes it's good, it's fine, but you can have just as rich of collaboration inside of a virtual environment that you can inside of a classroom or a meeting room, etc. You just have to change the way that you do things. So what we're going to do today is that I am going to bring some leadership principles inside of a workshop. So we're literally going to enter a workshop because I didn't want to bore you guys with, let's just talk about leadership and how to change the world of work. We're going to actually have some fun. We're going to think about this through the scope of leading creativity. But the real purpose behind this is to say, let's go through this simulation and then come out of the workshop and say, how do we help lead the charge? How do we help any leader that we're working with, any organization that we're working with, think about things differently, maybe be more creative in their own practices, stop their one-way communication, etc. So I hope that makes sense. We're going to talk about leadership, but we're going to be doing it inside of a workshop. So for us to get started, I want to just do one thing, and I want if this might be something that you do in your workshops right now, and if you don't, steal everything that we talk about today. That's what we're here to do. So I just like to do a check-in, and then whenever we leave, we're going to do a check-out. So I want you to just do a one-word check-in. How you feeling today? Where's your brain at? Poll is open. Lovely. Lovely. Excited. All right. Excited.
Anna Maria, I don't think I can participate because you made me a facilitator.
Barbara, thank you for being honest, scattered, enchanted. Oh, and see, look at all you with all your beautiful words. Tired. Overcooked. Okay, so we have our check-in, we have our mindset. So let's intentionally set this time aside for each other, learn, connect, leave here being able to do something differently. All right, so what I want us to do is first honor your experience, because that's the main goal today, is that we hear about some of the awesome things that you're already doing. So I'm going to end this poll and open up our Miro board here. So let's just go ahead, and I want to hear from you right now. So what is already working? You guys have probably been in this situation, like I'm in a lot, where people are saying, hey, I want to do this change initiative. Let's just do a big announcement and tell people what they're supposed to do and expect that to just go swimmingly. Has anyone ever been in that situation before? Yes, it happens all the time, right? So, but there's things that you're already doing to say, hey, hold on a second. There's probably a better mode here to being able to lead this change or do this in a different way. So what are you already doing to help move the needle, to help others lead creatively? So I don't know if this follows me, but I put on my Post-it note, lead by example. So like what we're doing right now, this maybe being on YouTube is going to show people you can accomplish the same goal, but you can do it in an interactive way. So what are some of the things that you're doing to help others lead creatively through your work? All right, give feedback, lead by example. What are things that you're already doing to lead this initiative? I knew this group was going to have a lot of ideas here. I love it. Use butter. All right. Heck yes. Give people space to experiment and make mistakes. Laugh. All right, I need someone to come on and tell me about this tactic of laughter, because that is my love language. Use humor. Dare to ask questions no one seems to want to ask as a team. Please, whoever wrote that, tell me more. I love that terminology. Dare to ask the question no one seems to want to ask. Build psychological safety. Absolutely, yes. Okay, a couple more minutes here. Hopefully what you all can do too is go back to this board and use all these ideas as you're moving forward. Asking engaging, unusual questions. That's going to be our next workshop, is what are all these questions everyone's asking? I love it. Okay, fabulous. Okay, so just a couple more seconds, everybody. And again, definitely refer back to this afterwards. Okay, so now what we're going to do is talk about just a couple principles, and I want you guys to grow upon these. So the first thing is building trust. So we all have team builders, they're boring, we all know this. So I want to do this a little bit differently, and then I'm put you out into breakout groups. So I want you to put your name. This is going to be our avatar that we're going to work with throughout our hour we have today. So I want you to put your name, and then this is really important. I want you to use an emoji that is something that's unique to who you are. So one of the things whenever we're building psychological safety on a team, we're building an environment of creativity, is building trust amongst that team. The way that you get to trust is through disclosure. So it's something about yourself that is unique, that whenever you share it with others, they feel more connected to you. That's how you build trust. So that's what I want you to do. You're going to do your name, and then you're going to do an emoji. So I'm just going to show you guys mine. And as a leader and as a facilitator, we always have to go first. So I put an art, a little art emoji on here because that's something very central to who I am. I was raised by artists in a very weird, messy, chaotic environment. I never knew what business was before I actually entered it. My mom always referred to business people as the man. So I have this very interesting perspective when I come into business because I have a very creative background, but I do something that's different. But now, as I've been doing this a long time, I've been finding this cross between my creative past and this business world that we live in. And I think that that's something that we all do, is how do we combine those two so it's digestible. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break you guys out into groups of 5. And I want you to just share what your emoji is and go a little bit deeper. So think about, how do I disclose this part of myself so that I can connect with this group? So I am going to go ahead and put you guys into breakout rooms.
Kara, what's the activity for when we get into the breakout room?
So when you go into the activity room, you're just going to talk about yourself and then where emoji is and why. So you'll just do that with a group. All right. Okay, give me one moment. All right. All right, so see you guys in just a couple minutes. Did anyone just get rudely interrupted? Raise your hand. It always happens, doesn't it? Okay, so if you could just for a second in the chat, or if you want to say it out loud, I would encourage you to do so. What is something that you learned or maybe found you had a connection with somebody else? Anybody have an aha? Wrestling with the board.
We learned that a lot of us like the crying emoji face the most.
Okay, y'all are gonna have to tell me about that later. Okay, all right, so we've all built some trust with each other. That's something that's important to do with teams. The next thing that we're gonna move on to is talk about intentional diversity. So let me bring you all to me. And so what I want you to do is actually, I want everyone to go, if you're new to Miro, you're going to scroll out and you're going to, and hopefully everyone's following me, you're going to go grab yourself and I want you to come back over to this board. So I'm going to grab myself, Kara, and I'm going to plot myself. Let me show you what you're going to plot here in just a second. So I'm going to come over here and I want you to think about these 2 things. So are you someone, and it's okay, I always get the response on this that I'm somewhere in the middle. That's totally fine. You can put yourself in the middle. So the first question you need to ask yourself is, do I get my energy from collaborating with people, or do I get it from just researching, putting my head down, figuring out problems, doing things on my own? So if I am on this continuum, I'm going to say that I get my energy from people. So the next question I want you to ask yourself is, do you like to move super fast? Do you like ideas everywhere? Do you like people just problem solving, like all over the place, like chaotic, like fast, go, go, go? Or do you like calm and to think about things really methodically before you make a decision? So are you fast or are you steady? So if I am myself, I'm going to put myself over here because I like to move really fast. And I like to do things with people. So again, so if you want to get your emoji, I know sometimes that Miro can be tricky. You're going to go over here and grab yourself. Looks like everybody did. Grab your now avatar, and then you're going to move over to this board. So we're going to see our group. All right, I was interested about this group. My post-it got stuck. If you want to make a new post-it, that's totally fine too. Just go over here and click on a post-it and put yourself wherever you are. Okay, so we have people. All right, you guys are all over the board. That's exactly what I wanted to happen. So I could probably spend 3 hours describing something like this about the different behaviors and traits, where you fall on this continuum. I am assessment agnostic, meaning that I don't think that if you go take HBDI or if you go take DISC or you go take Myers-Briggs or any of the personality profiles out there, they're better than any of them. I think that as long as you can have a conversation with a group of people where you understand that we all look at an object a different way. So some people might want to move fast, some people might want to move slow. As long as you appreciate those two qualities, coming together, appreciating it, and making that intentional diversity, you're going to get a better product from it. One of my sayings that I always tell people is what is difficult is always just diverse. It means that you're looking at something differently. And as long when you have that conversation, you can come together and see that you just have a different approach, things will move smoother. So what I do now is I'm going to open up a breakout room. So some of you guys are on the line, so I'm going to need you to make a decision. This does not mean anything, but I want you to, if you're on the line, I want you to actually put yourself into a quadrant. So if you're like, I don't know if I'm steady or I'm fast, it just kind of depends. That's okay. Make a decision for right now for the sake of this. And whoever is my Ferris wheel, I'm going to need you to go into this 3 quadrant so that my friend Chris here isn't all by himself.
Bummer, Rachel. I just read your message in the chat.
I'll go in here. I'll go with Chris.
Okay, thank you, Rachel. Okay. All right.
It's just the white words. I'm like, what is it? Okay, there we go.
Okay, so to further emphasize this, to kind of honor our differences, I'm going to open a breakout room. I want you to choose your number. So for example, Mary, you're going to choose 1, breakout room 1, because you're in the 1 quadrant. Anna Maria and April and Arav. And so if you guys are in the 2 quadrant, you're going to pick the 2. So you guys are all going to go into the breakout rooms that match your quadrant. And so I want you to just have a simple conversation for 5 minutes about how you like to start a project. Okay, so an example of this, if I was answering, most of the people that are in my quadrant might say this, I like to come up with every single idea that's underneath the sun, right? I am somebody else's personal hell. I know that about myself. So we're going to have a conversation about breakout 2 is already too many people for me. So what I want you to do is answer this question with each other. What is your preference of starting a project? Again, you're going to go to your breakout, and then you guys are going to have this conversation with each other for just a couple minutes. I'm probably going to interrupt you, so forgive me in advance. Any questions before we go? All right, let's party. Y'all talk after.
Okay.
Everyone's mad at me. Y'all are mad at me. I know.
I'm sorry, Misha.
That's aggressive.
You got cut off, Chris. That's cool.
Oh man, I know. I told you guys to forgive me in advance. I knew you were going to be mad at me. Okay. All right. So
there is this ouch react missing, I guess, in here when we come back from the breakout rooms.
I know.
Get cut off.
Put that on the note, Maria. Ow. Okay, I would just like to have just a quick, I'm putting some of you, I know who I'm going to make uncomfortable now by this chart. So I'm going to start with my 2 category. So I need someone from 2 to let me put you on the spot and just kind of give me a quick highlight of what you guys discussed, how you like to start projects. I'm gonna put someone on the spot that I know. So April, would you mind coming on board, my friend?
I was ready for it.
So April.
We all talked about how we involve people, but I know one person, I'm sorry, I don't remember any names, but one person in our group mentioned that they still like to gather their thoughts first and then have all the people involved. So it was really interesting to hear all the different ways that we would start, which kind of not always began with people. But a big, an important part for a lot of us is getting to the people and like making sure that we have the right people with us and interacting and everyone's doing it so that they actually enjoy being part of it and not just feel like they're just there to hang out.
Awesome. Thank you, April. Okay, Alana or Mary?
I'm gonna pass it for Mary.
Okay.
Thank you. Well, it was interesting because even though, and there was another one in our group too. I forget your name already. I'm sorry. Was it Andre?
Andrea.
Andre. We all fit into the same group, but the way we started our process was just completely different. For me, I was saying that I work on a team of 2 people. So we talk a lot. We use Miro a lot. We do a lot of card sorting. Alona was saying that, she does a lot of pre-work because she's working with different teams every time. So it was interesting because we all kind of have a similar personality, but we all go about our work differently.
Oh, interesting. Okay, thank you so much. All right, someone from group 3, please.
I can go, Chris. Oh, go ahead. You go, Chris.
Yeah, so Rachel and I both talked about how much we love frameworks to kick off a project. So to make sure that we, scope out the project, we analyze thoroughly. It doesn't mean that we, don't focus on people. They're still in the center of, what we want to do. But I think analyzing, getting the full context is really maybe of a natural way for us to think. At least for me, I just like to get all the information I need first before starting a project, and actually get really in the flow when I do that. But also love people.
Wonderful. Thank you, Chris. Some of the words there is getting all the information that I need, right? It's very important. And last but not least, our category 4. So Misha or Lauren, either one, please let us know.
Lauren, do you want to kick off and say something?
Yeah, sure. So I really like Misha's point about it kind of depends on like what the project is and the time in which like the deadline that you're trying to move towards. But we kind of talked about how we're both introverts and how sometimes it's easier to move faster on your own than to involve other people.
Awesome. Thank you. And again, everybody, there's differences in how people work. And the point here, this is a really common model. A lot of actual models derive from this. This is a communication model of being a supporter, persuader, analyzer, controller, right? It's you can use anything, but how do you start out saying, I look at the world through this lens? This is what comes from that lens, because the more that you understand each other, the better that project's going to go, the closer you're going to become, the better results you're going to get. So those are my 2 pieces. And if you want to learn more, you guys just call me. I have so many things about this I could share. Literally, I could talk to you about this all day long, but I'm not going to do that now because it's not about me. So these are my 2, right, that I wanted to share with you guys for you guys to interact with when it comes to leading creativity, because creativity is all about an environment. How do you make sure people trust one another? What are the things that we can do to help people build trust? What are the things that we can do to help honor different diversity and different talents? And now I want to hear from you. So those are my 2. So what else? What else can you do? And we're going to come down here. What are some other things that you do to help set this environment of creativity? So grab a sticky note and let's put some other ideas on here. What are some things that you do? So mine that I shared with you is build trust and intentionally make the group diverse and honor that diversity. What are some other things?
Cara, again, can you please summon us just to make sure that everyone finds the...
Yeah, I promise I'm going to figure out this.
There we go.
This feature here. There we go. I think it works when I summon you on my Miro board, but not in here right this second for some reason. And I'm going to read these out as you guys Celebrate all ideas, including the bad ones. Absolutely. One of the tactics that we always use is replacing the word but or however with yes and. If you are in a group of people and somebody starts negating ideas, it is going to destroy creativity in that very second. And then the conversations are going to happen outside of the room instead of inside of the room. Not feeling judged. Play. Giving everyone dot voting. That's really important. Things like Butter, things like Miro, this is allowing us to make more creative environments because things are equal and all voices can come to the table. Play with lateral thinking. I am learning so much today. Someone needs to tell me what lateral thinking is.
Kind of out of the box.
Oh, I just bought a book. I got to read on that too.
Being kind. It's very simple but important. Creating a space for those who are more vocal and those who may need to process internally. Absolutely. Something that we always say is that you have internal and you have external processors. If you have an environment where only the loudmouths, like myself, right? If you let me be in my natural environment, status quo, I will dominate any conversation, right? But there's awareness. I need to make sure that I quiet down so that everybody can talk in a room. And if I'm leading me, I'm telling me to quiet down as well so that everybody can have an equal voice. That's how you make this environment of creativity. The more we can remind leaders of that and business owners of that, the better. I'm a little passionate about that topic. Explore different kinds of creativity, absolutely. Constraints encourage creativity, absolutely. Limited time, resources. So I hope this isn't too distracting, but if you want to steal this, you totally can. So I used to work for some of us on this call actually used to work for a technology company called Ultimate Software. So in our leadership development program, we would take people through a simulation where we would make them make a visual representation of a word and put them in the absolute worst environment. We would make everyone the same type of thinkers. We would limit the time. We would reduce resources so that they couldn't use only certain colors and they couldn't use pictures of people. We would do all of the opposite items of creating a virtual environment so they could see the kind of results that would come out of it. And the results were always crappy. So the point of it is, I was trying to make you guys do this today, but I spared you the pain. But the point of it is that leading creativity is really about making an environment, and you have a choice. You can either make that environment one that doesn't get any ideas out of a group of people, or you can intentionally set an environment where the best ideas are coming out of a group. Okay, all right, you guys, these are really, really awesome ideas. And I hope that you see this theme that's coming out of how do we get the best ideas to come forth? That's how we lead this environment of creativity. All right, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna play. So I want you to take these ideas. This is either gonna go really well or really bad, but in the spirit of experimentation, we are going to try it, all right. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to go be creative now. So there's two things I want you guys to pay attention to. So make sure that I'm going to make you follow me here. So this is our next activity. So, and let me make you follow me. So what you're going to do is we're going to do the positive of this. So we just talked about how you make a great environment. So you are going to make a visual representation. So you're going to go into a group. I'm going to have a breakout room. And what I want you to do first is move yourself to the word that you want to work on. So if I am going to come down here, let me make sure you guys follow me. I'm going to take my avatar and I'm going to move to joy. This is the word that I'm going to work on. I want to make sure that, though, I am not with anybody else that thinks like I do. So this is where it's going to get tricky. So try to make sure that you have some diverse thinking in there. If this doesn't work, that's okay. But try to make sure you go places where people aren't in your style. So what you're going to do, so that's the first step. The second step is go on the internet, go get pictures, talk with your group about what this word looks like out loud. So if my word is hope, it might be a picture of a baby, right? So whatever it means to you, it doesn't matter. But what we want to do is just take about this, see, now I'm limiting resources here because we're running out of time just a little bit. We're going to take 7 minutes and I want you guys to just come up with a mural of what this emotion is. So we're going to go out, be creative. So you have your emoji that is inside of your word. When I do your breakouts, you're going to choose your word. So you'll see them titled as excitement, hope, joy, brave, etc. So that was a lot. Does anybody have any questions? Or are we just going to go with it? Okay. All right. I'll come in there to help out too if you need it. All right. I'm going to set our breakouts. And we're going to go for it. So you just choose your room, the one you want to work on. Oh, hold on 1 second. Start breakouts. I want you to be able to choose. All right, visual representation of that word, however you want to do it. You have unlimited resources. Have fun with each other. Okay, is everybody back? Are y'all mad at me again? Okay. Just write in chat. Did you guys have fun with that project? Did you feel like you got to be creative? All right, seeing the emojis. Okay, awesome. And I want you to see too, here, let me bring everybody to me. If you look now on this wall, you have these beautiful works of art because the group was able to come together and be creative and create this together. It would be much different if you guys didn't have this environment of acceptance and being open to ideas. And if you did it by yourself, it would look a lot different. So that's the goal when we're leading in environments, is leading creative environments, that we show people that work of art that they can make is going to be so much better if they create the best environment. So so with that, we have 1 more minute. I wish I could stay with you guys all day, but the last thing that I want to do with you is just have a check out. So any thoughts and ideas that you guys have, or just like one word that you want to leave with everybody before we end our time together. So let me go ahead, let me put our poll up and we'll do our checkout. All right. And if you want to come online and talk too, you can do that as well. Any insights? Puppies. Okay, wonderful. And I'm going to steal this word too. My word today is gratitude. In the world of leadership development, a lot of times I have this conversation with people of, I couldn't be a leader, I couldn't do this, because they think of leadership as this great person that's sitting up on a podium. And what I always have to tell people is that that's not the goal of leadership anymore. The goal of leadership is to create an environment where you get the best ideas out of the room. And if you can do that, you can do really great things and you can make a great piece of art. So thank you guys for your time today. It means the world to me. If you ever want to connect and talk about resources, I'm always here. I'm an open book. I appreciate you so much.
Thank you so much, Kara, and thanks everyone for joining.
Thanks, Kara.
Thank you.
Thank you.